Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm going to be doing something special, a CPU showdown. We'll be putting my old Ryzen 7 2700X, this little bugger here, up against the new Ryzen 7 5700X 3D, this little bugger here, just to see how much of a difference in performance this upgrade makes. If you're thinking about upgrading your CPU and are wondering whether it's worth it, then this video is for you. I'll be breaking down in a simple technical way so that you can make an informed decision. So let's just get started, shall we? First, let's talk about why I upgraded in the first place. My Ryzen 2700X, it did serve me well, but games and applications are getting more and more demanding, especially in the coding scene, especially in the video content creation scene. And I wanted something to give me a little bit better single core performance, improving efficiency and more power for gaming and content creation and various other things. And I am getting back into streaming on Twitch, well, YouTube, and making more content. Now, the reason why I chose the Ryzen 7 5700X 3D is it brings the AMD's 3D V-cache technology to the table, meaning better performance in CPU heavy tasks such as gaming, streaming, and editing. Now let's start with performance and numbers. I run Cinebench R23, a popular benchmarking for testing CPU performance. Here's how the two chipsets compared. This is the 2700 score. This is the 5700 score. That's an increase of almost 2,000 points. That means better performance in workloads like video editing, rendering, and even everyday tasks like creating your own AI, large language models, coding, bug hunting, you name it. Even, and I hate to say this, there are some people out there that are doing CPU mining. What that means is it's the opposite to GPU mining. They will buy a bargain basement, barely functional, like a B350, B450 motherboard with stripped down, bare bones, takes a max of 8 gigs of memory, just enough to get an operating system on there, maybe a low-end M.2 slot for an operating system, and then just racks of well, not necessarily graphics cards, because I do have an old Bitcoin mining motherboard, ironically, in a rig over there. But point is, this one's a CPU miner, which means it has like a 750 graphics card just to have a display up, and they run a whole bunch of ducky scripts and various other things, and the CPU does all the mining, not the GPU. And a lot of people are trying to use the 5700 X3D to do that. Downside is NVIDIA, not NVIDIA, sorry, AMD thought ahead of that, and they put in certain preventatives on the microcode end. So even if they did manage to hack the microcode of the processor to do it, there's a high chance that the processor just can't do it. Now, gaming aside, let's take a look at the 3D Mark maximum settings. Here, this is on the 2700, and here, this is on the 5700. You can see a major performance difference between the two. I mean, night and day. Night and day. And this tells us that not only does the new CPU improve general performance, but it also helps gaming, where CPU bottlenecks can be a serious issue. Namely, as you guys know, I love to play games like Battletech. I have a modded version of Battletech called RogueTech. That mod alone needs 48 gigs. Not of just hard drive space, swap file space. Let me explain that again. It needs 48 gigs of swap space. Now I have video content of, I'll run a small little video clip over here. I'm going to have to speed up the 2700's video because it took 16 to 18 minutes just to go from clicking the logo, the icon to start the game, to getting to the main title screen. It just took that long to transfer that amount of raw data, as where it only took 6 minutes for the 5700. Night and day. Night and day. And the core difference isn't just in the generational architecture. It isn't just in the single core performance. It's not just necessarily anything other than the Vcache. Now, what I mean by that is the 5700 X3D has over 100, well, it has 96 megabytes technically, but it has 100 megabytes of L3 cache. That is unheard of for a processor. That's like server grade, which means data shift points like that, easily done. I am running large language models on this machine, and my tokens shot up. I haven't changed my graphics card. My graphics card's still the 3060. Nothing in this system has changed. Even the RAM timings have remained the same. The only thing that I did was I swapped out the processors. Even the BIOS was the same. BIOS was the same. RAM timings was the same. Graphics card was the same, power supply was the same, hard drives was the same. Nothing has changed other than just a simple, even the cooler. The cooler is the same. It's still my 240i all-in-one. The only thing that changed was I swapped processors. That's it. That's all I did. Now, Prime 95, let me just put it like this. The 2700 doing Prime 95 really wasn't even worth running the tests, because by the time I got 3 minutes into the test, I was getting thermal throttling, and it went from 4.1 gigahertz down to a abysmal 2 gigahertz. It literally cut its processing speed in half due to thermal throttling. Now, the 5700, because it runs cooler by a whopping 35 watts, and you're thinking that doesn't seem that much. It does. Laptop GPUs run a max of about 30 watts. This processor was running is cooler than most gaming laptop GPUs. It's ridiculous. It reached, granted, it did reach 90 degrees C on an all-in-one cooler, but Prime 95 had been going for almost 15 minutes, and the cooler was heat saturated. And even then, it didn't thermal throttle. Now, granted, I only have my 5700 clocked at 3 gigahertz. It boosts up to 4.5. My 2700 is at 4.1 out the box. So yes, out the box, the 2700 is a bit faster out the box. However, 5700 just overtakes it. Now, benchmarks are great, but what about actual gaming? And how does this upgrade impact my gaming experience? Well, higher FPS and the CPU-heavy games like Once Human, and God forbid if you're playing games like Ark, and even Red Orchestra. I even re-downloaded a ton of games and was just running their benchmarks. I even ran the Resident Evil 7 benchmark, and it was insane. I was getting 200 plus FPS with the 5700 X3D. It blew my mind. In other social applications like Second Life and various other things I do, I gained over 90 FPS just in Second Life. And I hadn't changed a single setting. I hadn't changed a single settings in Second Life. I hadn't changed a single settings in my system. My Ryzen Master program, the app that they put out for the Ryzen processor, was telling me everything was all in the green and it was perfectly fine. And at one point, I even forgot I was logged into SL. I had to go do some things like finish building up 2 PCs, and came back and I realized, oh crap, I'm still in SL with like 15 offline messages. Answered those messages, then a medical issue happened, which is why this video is coming out a little bit later. Now, power efficiency. Hardware monitor was telling me about the temps and the draw speeds and whatnot during full loads. Now, my 2700X, it ran anywhere between 55 and 68 degrees C, even on a 240 liquid cooler. The stock Wraith cooler that it came with originally was not good enough. I even bought an aftermarket cooler like this one, and this wasn't good enough. So I was like, what am I going to do? And so I found an all-in-one liquid cooler, strapped it in there, and it got my temps down. I'm even using Cryonaut okay, which is like the best renowned paste period that you can use. Hydronaut and Cryonaut. They're designed for hardcore liquid nitrogen overclocking, guys. It's the best thermal compound performance you can get, and it's done by a guy on YouTube. Amazing guy. Yeah, love him to death. And he's German. Would be the Germans. And it's just, his name's De Bauer, and amazing guy, great content creator. And one day I would love to thank him personally for the products that he's made. I've bought several of his water blocks for some customers' graphics cards. I can never afford them for my own. But the point is, the dude's amazing. Now, let me get to the conclusion of this video. So, upgrading the Ryzen 7 2700X to a Ryzen 7 5700X really, is it worth it? Absolutely. You get better gaming performance, higher benchmark scores, lower temps, and power usage, future proofing for upcoming games and applications. If you're running an older Ryzen chip and you are serious about wanting to upgrade, the 5700X 3D. Now there's the 5700X and then there's the 5700X 3D. Make sure you double check you're getting the X3D. Okay? It's the best choice you can. It's amazing. Seriously, guys, I cannot thank this processor enough. It's changed a lot. It's even helped me in my Python coding and scripting classes, because it just churns through what I need and gets it done faster. Even video editing. I've yet to figure out how fast it's going to take to edit this video in Sony Vegas using both my CUDA cores as well as this new processor, because this will be the very first video that I get to render on it, guys. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Please don't forget, if you did find this video helpful, hit a like, subscribe, and let me know in the comment section what CPU you're rocking right now, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, guys, take care, and I love you all.